Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tell It with Tutti. And today I'm so happy to announce that I have this wonderful guest. Her name is Crystal Romero, and she is amazing. She has a wonderful story to share with us. She is retired from the armed forces. She was in the military for 16 years, and she's currently an activist for those retirees from the military, and she has an amazing story, and I will love, she's also Hispanic, and I will love to share her story. So welcome to Tell It with Tutti. Crystal, how are you?
Thank you so much, Judy. I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I was looking a little and doing my little research about your work, and I thought that it was super amazing that, you know, somebody that experienced something so impacted, you know, like join the army forces and then dedicating their life after that to help in covering those healing spots that we might need. I thought it was super amazing. So let's talk to everybody about this. Like, can you let's go start for like what interests you about the military life?
Well, I had always wanted to join the military since I was a little kid. My padrino, which is godfather, it was a Bataan Death March survivor. So I grew up with his stories. Him and my madrina helped raise both my mom and I, because my mom was 15 when she had me. So he would always tell me when I was a little kid that I was born to be a soldier because I was born on March 4th and soldiers always march forward. So I just kind of took that to heart. And since I was a kid, it's just something that I had always wanted to do.
So when it comes to the boot camp, we always see that like being portrayed in the movies. How real is that? How accurate is that?
I mean, it's pretty accurate. It's really important for folks who join the military to be physically fit and also mentally fit, just because of the stuff that we have to do. And one of the reasons why physical fitness is stressed so much is because ultimately we're training for war. So you need to be strong. You need to be able to, you know, carry your buddies out if something goes south. You need to be able to outrun the enemy. You need to be able to carry equipment for long periods of time if needed. And just all aspects of the physical fitness and the mental fitness portion of it, it's very important. And it's pretty strenuous. So they do push us. They do push our physical limits, but ultimately it's so that we're able to carry out the mission.
So what was so important for you to stay in your hometown in base?
Actually, when I enlisted in the military, I was 17, and wow. I was actually working at Walmart. I was a cashier, and I didn't really understand when I had a recruiter talk to me. I thought I was joining the Army, and I was getting ready to go off to boot camp. I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and when I got there, my drill sergeant was like, "Okay, well, you're National Guard, so you need to, he was explaining how like it's different," and I was like, "What do you mean it's different?" And so I served in the National Guard, which is, they're part-time positions, except for after my first 2 years of serving, I decided that I wanted to do it full time. So I didn't want to just do it 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. I wanted to be in uniform every day. So that's when I went full time. So there's actually part-time National Guard positions in the in the Army National Guard, and then there's full-time positions. There's active Guard reserves, and then there's active duty operational support, which is what I did. And that's the difference. So National Guard is, we are controlled by the governor.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically our commander in chief. And active duty, they report to the president. So that's kind of the major difference. And
Okay.
honestly, had I known and had it been explained to me differently, I would have gone regular Army, not National Guard. But I liked it. I mean, ultimately, I loved what I did.
You did 16 years of your life.
Yes, 16 years, 3 months.
Wow. So, being 16 years enrolled, how did you go back to civilian life? How do you transition?
um, well, I didn't do too well. I did not have a good transition at all. When I left the military, I didn't leave on my own. I wasn't ready to leave. I was actually forced out. And because of that, I suffered from moral injury. And that's actually what is a big portion of my post-traumatic stress. I have complex post-traumatic stress. And so for like the first 2 years when I got out of the military, I was extremely depressed. I was really depressed. I gained a lot of weight because I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I lost a lot of friends during that period of time because I kind of just went into isolation mode. And I was also filled with a lot of rage. I was just really angry, and I became very short fused. So, like little minor infractions would just set me off. I became very irritable, and every day I was just battling my anxiety and my depression. So for my first 2 years, I honestly say that I had a really difficult time.
How do you cope with
And
that?
then, well, honestly, I've got 3 daughters, so it kind of just, just one day I was just like, what am I doing? Like I have, I'm raising 3 women. I cannot just sit around on the couch all day long. Like I get my kids off to school and then I go to the couch, and sometimes and I'm not really like a big alcohol user, or anything like that. And so I would just eat. I would sit on the couch. Matter of fact, I binge watched Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Grey's Anatomy, but there's like 12
Yes.
seasons.
Yes, a
Like
lot.
yeah, that's all I did.
Wow.
And so finally one day I kind of like gave a little self-talk, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? Get off your ass and just do something already. Like, quit. No one's going to come for you. Like, no one's going to come rescue you. And so I just made a decision to start working out, and working out helped me tremendously because it got me out of the house and I started feeling better about myself.
So you mentioned earlier that you were forced out. So do you think that
Mhm.
uh, the main trigger of your depression was the fact that you thought that you still have more stuff to get done inside the forces? And why did you feel that you needed to be rescued?
Well, I didn't feel like I needed to be rescued, but I just knew that nobody was going to help me. I had to help myself. And I absolutely wasn't done. I mean, I was at the peak of my career.
Mm-hmm.
I was, I had made E7. I had been in E7 for about, let's see, for 5 years. And that's Sergeant First Class. So there's 9 enlisted ranks, E1 through E9. And I was at E7. And I had just, kind of gotten the hang of being a junior non-commissioned officer. I was a platoon sergeant, so I was getting that leadership development that that is so crucial to our careers. And I was at my prime, like I was at my peak, and I was really proud of even the work that I was doing, because I worked in substance abuse, and I was able to help a lot of soldiers that had turned to drug and alcohol abuse. So like I felt that I was making a difference, and I mean, I just completely got sidelined, and it was it was really hard for me because, one, nobody wanted to help me. Nobody. I mean, officers were afraid. Uh, enlisted people were like, would kind of avoid me, and it it you know, that sense of betrayal, especially after you've worked with these people for so long, it was really painful. Like it was extremely hurtful, and that hurt just turned into anger.
Do you think that your career got sabotaged by your superiors?
It 100% did.
And
It 100% did.
and you know, this is not the first time that I hear something like that. I also, you know, have known people that are in the military and that are achieving a lot of stuff and a lot of accomplishments, and also have kind of like the same things, very cliquey inside. Is an
Yeah.
organization that is, you know, is kind of like the cool kids only get the cool things, the cool
Oh
clicks,
yeah.
the very connections, and they cover a lot among themselves. But there's only a few, you know, it's like very cliquey, I would say so. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very unfortunate because as you know mentioned, is most of the time not based in performance, but
Mm-hmm.
in who your friends are, type of
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
it's very unfortunate. Do you think that the government, do you think that the military can do a better job helping those members to adjust to the civilian life?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Titi, there's actually a lot of programs that are, you know, in existence to help military people transition over to the civilian world. There's you know, like I'm on LinkedIn and I follow so many, even just veteran owned nonprofits that, you know, that they've decided that, hey, like, you know what, I had a hard time transitioning, so I'm going to create a foundation or a nonprofit to, you know, to help people like me. So now, like currently, I think that there's a lot of options and the resources are there. But what I feel the military should do is help market those better, because you don't know to go get that help if you don't know it exists.
Yeah.
And for like, not that I'm old, but you know, I am older. You know, I've got a little bit more experience, so I know to go research stuff. You know, that's one of the things that I'm really good at. So like when I'm trying to figure something out, like I'll go find the answers, right? I'll know where to look, as opposed to younger service members when they get out. You know, say they served, you know, maybe 4 years, but they were combat veterans. They get out and they're not really sure where to go. I know a lot of veterans that they've been out for, you know, 6, 7 years, and they had no idea that they could get healthcare at the VA. Like they had no idea. Like nobody took the time to explain that to them. And that kind of stuff is so hurtful to our veteran organization and our community, because like I said, if you don't know, you don't go and ask for the help. And then that's how we have suicides. It's how we have drug and alcohol problems. It's how we have homelessness.
So it's very important that you touch that subject, homeless. You know, for a country, you know, as an outsider, you know, everybody knows that I am not, and for those who don't know, I am not. I wasn't born here in America. I'm Colombian, but when I'm moving here, I noticed that Americans are very patriotic. very proud of their country and super proud of their law enforcement and the military forces. That's just very proud.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's super different to see military people that have run in the military, that have served for your country, and you claim to be so proud of them, and they're homeless. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
battling with PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
schizophrenia, mental illness in general, addiction, and we like see them. And so that led me to believe is like, are we tossable for the military after those services are done? Can we do much better? Like, how can we take care of these people? I mean, we are so proud, right? We are so proud of having military forces, and how amazing they are, and how we serve our country, how we defend our, our borders. But are we
Tootie,
defending those
America
people?
does. They take care of us so much. I mean, haven't you ever been to Home Depot? They give us a 10% discount. They're taking care of us. I feel so protected and so,
and this is sarcasm, ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciated for my service, because when I got to go buy, I mean, not lumber, they don't give a discount on lumber, but if I need nails and a hammer, I'm going to get $1 off. So, you know what, I mean, that's the problem, right? It's like the energy is kind of going in the wrong direction. If America really loved or, supported the veterans and whatnot, then we wouldn't have these issues. We wouldn't have, 30% of the veteran community is homeless. That's almost embarrassing. Like, you should be embarrassed as an American.
Very sad
that we've got that large number of homeless veterans.
Okay, I want to touch a subject that is very, sad. And with that, I have also a question. Is I'm sure that you're very familiar with Vanessa Guillen and
Yes.
the base that she served at in Texas. So now I'm asking you, before transitioning to her case, as a woman in the military, you have to face a lot of danger and predicament while you enrolled defending your flag. But what are also the dangers or the unsafeness that you face within your own corporation? Do you feel safe 100% the entire time? Do you think that women in the military are being protected?
So this is this is where I get, like, my disappointment sets in, because my only experience with a sexual assault or sexual harassment, rather, was at the beginning of my career and at the very end, and like completely. And then I had, like, I didn't really have a whole lot in between. And let me explain. So when I enlisted, I went to basic training at Fort Jackson. It was awesome. Like, loved it. I was, I had a great unit. I was in a co-ed team, and I didn't have issues. I didn't have a lot of issues at all. Women, we do have to work harder because, we're, twice as, we're smaller. Mm-hmm. By nature, we're just naturally the smaller person. I'm only 5 feet tall. So I always had to work a little bit harder, but that didn't really bother me. When I got to my advanced individual training school, which is where you go to learn how to use your job, our whole 9 weeks, everything went great. I was, graduation day was coming upon us, and my drill sergeant called me into his office on graduation day. We had already packed up everything, like our duffel bags were lined up on the sidewalk outside. And I go to the office, and he told me that I was a holdover. And I was like, I didn't really understand what that meant. And he said that, oh, well, there's some problems with your paperwork, because I had to go home on emergency leave, and during my time at training. So he says there's something wrong with your paperwork, and it kind of didn't make any sense to me. But this is my drill sergeant, right? This is someone I've been listening to for the last 9 weeks, and I've been looking up to him. So I took his word for it, and then I said, well, how come nobody else told me? Like, I'm about to get on a bus. And he was just like, well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's like, what's really going on is, I want to take you to a hotel room and fuck your brains out. Like, that's what he said to me. I was 18 years old. This man was probably in his 40s. And in that moment, I was, I went into like a very quick survival mode. My childhood experience kind of prepared me for this kind of stuff. So, just real quick, I said, oh, okay. Well, let me go get my bags. And, he just kind of nodded his head. He thought he believed me. And I left. I walked out of that room. I ran outside. I grabbed my duffel bags and I jumped on the first bus. Like, I didn't even care where the bus was going. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. And I left, and I like never looked back. I remember sitting there on the way to the airport going like, I can't believe that this just happened. And that was my first experience with that type of situation.
Do you feel comfortable bringing that up to his superiors?
Honestly, it was just really disappointing. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, man, I looked up to that dude for 9 weeks. Like, I looked up to him, I trusted him. And for him to say that to me, I was just, obviously it pissed me off. But after that, I didn't have a lot of incidents with sexual harassment at all. I worked in a unit at one point of my career, I was in a unit I was the only enlisted female for about 8 years. And not once did I ever feel unsafe. Not once did I ever feel like they're going to harm me. If anything, I felt a little bit too overprotected. I felt like I was there, serving with like 15 dads and 6 brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't have that experience. And that's one of the other reasons why this whole issue with sexual harassment and sexual assault in the military just really pisses me off. Because I'm like, women and men can serve together. I did it. I'm testament to that women and men can serve in a unit, can work as cohesive teams without any issues. So when I heard about Vanessa Guillen, this was in, June of 2020. Honestly, all I needed to see was her face. Her face popped up on my Instagram feed, and it was like, missing soldier. And I was like, what? So I dove right in. I started looking into what had happened with her, and immediately just like jumped on the bandwagon. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, you do not go missing. Everything about her story was like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. It's like, soldiers don't go missing. Good soldiers don't go missing. And for them to count her AWOL, it just infuriated me. I was like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. So I just, that was the day I became an activist, was the day that I saw that young lady's face.
Wow. Do you think, I have 2 questions when it comes to that. Do you think that these are isolated events, or do you think that it's just more that people don't talk about it?
Well, over the last 2 years, I have, I feel like I've been living under a rock, quite frankly, because I didn't realize how bad it was. until I started doing this work. And it is extremely, it's, I mean, in Fort Hood especially, I had a call yesterday. I mean, it's kind of funny that we were even doing this interview because I had a call yesterday from a young female at Fort Hood.
Wow.
I get people in my Instagram, like in my inbox, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, all the time, of young ladies reaching out to me saying, "Hey, do you think you could help me?"
You see, they reach out to you because they don't feel safe reaching out to their superiors. They know there's nothing going to happen there. That is devastating.
Yeah, it's sad.
Crystal.
It's sad. It's really sad because all this does is weaken our military. It just weakens our own organization. It's like, why would you want to weaken your own organization? You know what I mean? And I think that this, you know, this new culture of like, you know, sex is so, it's like a trend. It's weird. And I think that it makes it extremely difficult to, you know, to, I guess to, what's the word I'm looking for? To fight it. You know, that this today's culture is, it definitely makes it challenging for the ones in the military that are trying to prevent it.
Yeah.
You know, I've met some incredible, like sergeant majors, some incredible officers that are really trying to like nip this in the butt. You know, they're like, this is not something that we do. This does not belong in our military. You know, we're not going to tolerate it. And, you know, it's like pushing a rock up a hill sometimes. And I, you know, that's just my personal experience with the last 2 years.
So has fighting for Vanessa been healing to you in any way?
Okay, so definitely cathartic, because I had never dealt with my post-traumatic stress. To me, you know, when I got out, I kind of like just shoved it all in like the back of the cupboard and closed
That's
it and locked
usually
it.
what
And
humans we do with trauma. We put it in the back of our head and
yeah,
don't deal with it.
oh yeah, I shoved it way back there with everything else, you know, from my childhood trauma. And I just put it away. I locked it up and like swallowed the key. You know, I wasn't even having therapy and stuff. Like I still had not done any deep trauma work. And this work that I'm doing now, this advocacy work, has really forced me to face my trauma. And as painful as it can be, because, you know, I have panic attacks. I have, you know, I have days where I don't feel like getting out of bed. You know, there's days where I'll either sleep too much or I'm not getting any sleep at all. There's like no in between. You know, and I still deal with that, like today, you know, present time. But one of the things that keeps me going is the fact that like I know I'm making a difference. Like I know I'm helping soldiers that can't help themselves, either because, you know, they're really young and they just don't know, or they're being stonewalled, you know, by someone in their chain of command. And my biggest thing with this whole sexual assault thing is that you can't report a problem to a problem. You can't. And oftentimes the chain of command is the problem. So, you know, until we can start holding people accountable, regardless of rank, we're going to keep having these problems.
Yeah. Do you feel that they get a lot of protection when you have like these higher rankings? And there's like it's like they're no talking policy. You see, you don't see, you don't talk. Do you think that is common there?
The higher the rank, the harder it is. That's for sure. I mean, I lost my battle because I had the influence of a 3-star general, you know, versus that's who I was up against. And it wasn't even I was up against the actual general. It was more his influence.
So now in 2020, I Am Vanessa Guillen Act was announced. Could you explain what the importance of that act for people who don't know?
The importance of the act, and I was kind of disappointed because it did get watered down a little bit, or a lot. I don't know. It's personal opinion, I guess. But the importance is that it removed the chain of command from the investigation process. That was huge. That was huge. That was a huge step forward and a huge step towards change. So before, if you reported a sexual assault, chances are that what if it was the first sergeant, or like what if he was in the commander? I mean, that happens. You can't go to the commander to report the problem, right?
The commander
or
is
say you go report, say you go and file a report, and now the sexual assault prevention office, right? What do? They got to notify the chain of command of the problem. You see how it stops right there?
Yeah.
It goes nowhere.
Yeah.
It goes nowhere. And then guess what? This troop is now forced to work in a hostile work environment. Who the hell wants to do that? How can you possibly expect someone to do their job
or work in a hostile
department? They don't even feel safe at work?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a young lady in Romania contact me. This was about a month ago, and she was feeling like she was being harassed at work. So she went to the SARC, which is a sexual assault response coordinator.
Yeah.
And she wanted to file a report because she was being harassed. And the SARC was doing everything in his power to convince her to not file the report because he was friends with the person.
Wow.
I mean, I'm like, how do they don't even have a chance. That's not right.
It's a battle that you lost before you even started.
Yeah. I mean, nothing has a chance to be good.
In 2020, you held your first rally.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Okay.
Tell me what goes into making a rally, and why did you decide to make one?
All right. First of all, I had no idea what I was doing.
That's usually how we start doing something.
Oh my God. I was so nervous. I had no idea what I was doing. I was on the phone. I was calling like other advocates like around the US, right? I had, because obviously throughout this whole process, I've connected with other people like advocates like myself. So I started watching like their videos. I started watching press releases. I started watching like, people that were on the Hill that were, advocating for stuff. I just started watching other people. And then I started reaching out to just my network. In my 16 years of the military, I had a pretty big network. So I started reaching out to people. I would call I'd call the vet center. I'd call the VA. I called the SARCs from Kirtland Air Force Base. They're in Albuquerque. I called the National Guard SARC, who was an extreme disappointment because she bailed out on my rally like a couple of days beforehand because someone told her that I was drama. And I was like, yeah. And see, and that's the problem, right? Like this person had no idea who I was. I had never met her. I had never met her. Right. Yeah.
It's very common. If you have an opinion, if you are opinionated, if you are a fighter, if you work for your causes, it's very common for us to be called dramatic or much worse.
Oh yeah.
So that means that we're doing something right.
Right? Yeah. And you know what? My first thought was, it's like someone like that doesn't belong in a position like that. You know
It's
what I mean? If you're going to
discouraging.
be biased, it's extremely discouraging,
Yeah.
and it's a shame. But that's what I did. I called, I called all my buddies. I have a friend that he's a mariachi player, so I called him up and I'm like, hey, can you help me with the sound system? You know what I mean? Like I didn't have I had no idea. Like I said, when I tell you I had no idea what I was doing, I mean it. But I got on Facebook and I did like a video and I said, hey, I'm reaching out to, mothers against drunk driving, fathers against drunk driving. We're talking about the sons and daughters of America here. So I need everybody. And that's what I did. And I reached out to LULAC, which is the League of United Latin American Citizens. And I called they have like a 1-800 number. I called them and I got put in touch with the state treasurer the LULAC treasurer in my state. And I called him, I spoke to him, and he was like, whatever you need. What do you need? How can we help you? And they really showed up. They really showed up. And you know what?
Nice.
It was all civilians.
That's
I
amazing.
reached out to the military, to my, to the folks that I used to serve with. And I was like, hey man, can you guys support me on this? And there was so much hesitation. There's like, and to their defense, there are Army directives, right, that prohibit service members from attending protests. Like you can't protest in uniform.
It's almost a
You're
way
not
of
allowed to.
controlling the narrative.
Yeah. And it's sad because like they want to help, right? But like they're
But their hands are
hesitant
tied
because they don't
because
want to
they're
get in
going against
trouble.
their pension, they're going against their family, they're going against the security of their family. It's a way of manipulating and a way of controlling. It's a very toxic power trip. Very,
Yeah,
very toxic.
it
So have you
is.
gotten like an actively push back from members of the military? Like they have found your drive and are actively wanting to push back on you?
Not really.
Not really.
No, for the most part, I've received a lot of support from both active duty folks and reserve folks. I think that people are finally realizing that, wow, this is really a big problem, right? And I think that they don't want to wait till it happens to them.
Crystal, have you thought about
They're not willing to take that
risk? Crystal, have you thought about getting into politics?
Oh, hell no. Not interested. No, thank you. No, thanks. You know that I reached out to Congress. This is, and I'm probably going to get beat up for this, but that's okay. But, I reached out to Congress throughout this whole period, right? My own state senator never made time to meet with me. To this day, I wrote to his office. I couldn't even tell you how many times. And what's really sad is that he's on the Armed Forces Subcommittee. Like, yeah, so that was extremely disappointing for sure. And I get messages, oh yeah, we'll get back with you, we'll get back with you, and here we are 2.5 years later, and I still nobody's gotten back with me. How weird. Strange. He must be busy.
Must be, right? So now I want to wrap
politics,
things.
No.
maybe you change your mind. You never know. I think that would be super refreshing to see somebody standing with experience and the drive to help victims of certain environment that is a thing, is very real, and everybody wants to.
It is a thing.
Sweep under the rug. So it will be really refreshing. So maybe you will change your mind. Hopefully you will change your mind, Rod.
You know what? I'm more of like someone that wants to work in the background, honestly. I have 3 kids. I have 3 daughters, and they're still, age 20, and I've got twins that are 14. And I see how ugly people are, how nasty people are.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put myself out there like that, because I know what that could do to my kids. And I prefer to be in the background. I prefer to be like the support that's going to help you achieve that. I've got friends that are in politics. That's for the people. Matter of fact, that would be a great interview for you. Pam
Um,
Campos or Triste. You would love
absolutely.
them.
I
And
will,
I support them
love it.
100%. Yeah,
I will
vets for the
love.
people. I'll connect you.
Oh, I please. I everything that is
Yes.
empowering and shows a light of things that usually people try to put in the darkness. I please bring it on because, like I
Hey,
say, I have no Twitter. So if they wanna attack me for it, they won't find me.
yeah, that's what I need to do. I just need to take down all my stuff. Be like, you can't touch me because you can't find me. There
You
you
can
go. That's
find
smart.
me. So now just to wrap things up on a good note, and good experiences. You also have a traveling blog. You have a blog
Oh
named
yeah.
Traveling. I did my research, Crystal. I did my research. So you also have a blog that is Traveling for Chocolate. How did that?
Yeah,
How did that?
travels for chocolate.
How
You
did
know,
that name came
that
from?
that's that was part of my healing journey. I started that blog, I want to say I started in 2015. And a good friend of mine is a social media influencer. She does this for a living. She's the House of Sequence. And she's just like a phenomenal human being. But I met her through Poshmark, through like this other platform. And she taught me basically like everything she knows. And so it inspired me to do something different, completely different, right? Like I used to work in weapons of mass destruction in the military,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, I'm gonna do a travel blog, a lifestyle blog. And I think I suck as a writer. I think I'm horrible. So I was like, oh, I don't know. And I probably have like 5 people that follow me, so like it's not that big of a deal. But um she taught me everything. And you know what? That really helped me climb out of that depression that I was in. That was a huge, huge part of my healing journey. You know what I mean? Like digging into myself and finding other things that I loved, and and just embracing my inner child. You know, I'd always wanted to go to, see other countries, and I'm like, I have no reason to not do it. I have nothing stopping me but myself. So I I started booking flights and getting passport stamps and making friends all over the world.
Isn't that amazing? I love
And
traveling.
yeah, and so
Where did Travel for
that
Chocolate
was
came
part of
from?
that was oh my gosh,
I am
it's a funny
so
story, another
sorry.
time.
There is, oh my God, there is,
It's okay, you're in California. That's kind of like the background music, right? That's like your
right?
ambient mood music.
This is, oh my Lord. The Bay Area is active
Yeah,
today, ladies and gentlemen. So, what
I
is it?
love the Bay Area.
You like it? But no for dating. No for
No.
dating.
No,
It's
no,
horrible
I
for
agree.
dating. It's the worst. I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out of the pool, but I'm telling you, the struggle was real.
Oh yeah, it's real everywhere. So yeah, I feel
Oh,
you on that one.
yeah, I love the Bay Area, but I tell everybody not for dating. It's awful. San Francisco is awful. But where is the chocolate, Travel for Chocolates came from? Why that name, Travel for Chocolates? You like chocolate a lot?
You know what? My friend, the one I was telling you about,
Yeah.
when I first started my travel thing, my Instagram name was Little Miss Chris, like LILMSCRYS. And one day she kind of just roasted me, and she was like, "Your name sounds kind of like a chola, like it's like a gang name or something." She's like, "We need to change it." And I was like, "Oh." I'm like, well, I'm like,
Be honest.
if we're being honest, like I was in a gang when I was a teenager, and I was a
Oh.
chola. So like, it kind of goes with kind of goes with it. So, but she's like, no, we need to change it. We need something more catchy. So she actually helped me change it, and she came up with that.
I think
So,
it's
and
super
I
catchy and
liked it.
cute.
I liked
And
it.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I
Traveling for
liked it.
chocolate, that's pretty cool. What are your favorite places to travel? Places that you love to
My,
travel?
I love going to, I've been to Morocco and Spain, Ireland, Thailand. I've been to Thailand a couple times. Uh, Honestly, like I don't know that I've found a favorite place yet. But for me, I love going, especially to third world countries, because it's just such an eye-opening experience,
Yes.
and you get a lot of like, man, like I cannot be complaining about,
It
X, Y, and
humbles
Z
you out.
when it
It's a
does.
humble experience. 100%, I agree.
It is. And I just love, exploring other cultures. I like to see how the world works. So getting to experience it firsthand is, again, that's pouring into me. That's filling my happiness tank. So it's kind of like chasing happiness. Oh, where are you gonna go today? Yeah, let's go to Ireland, which was awesome.
Very
And
green, the windmills, and it's just green
oh,
and beautiful. And a lot
it's
of
green and
tall
beautiful.
people. Scandinavians are huge, huge, ladies and gentlemen. Women,
Yeah,
and I think that's the only place in the world that I have felt that I was different. Because everywhere I went,
yeah,
I was just like, yeah, well, there's brown people everywhere, there's loud people everywhere. But
right.
Ireland was like, whoa, I'm really
Yeah.
don't belong here. Like in a sense of physics, like you can tell that I was not born here. Everybody was huge. The Scandinavians are huge and blonde. Everybody
Oh
blue
yeah.
eye, including the women. Amazonian,
Hmm.
tall, fit, tall women.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Everybody
told you
blonde.
I'm 5 feet tall. So in Ireland, though, I was like this the entire
I
time.
know. I am
Like,
5'9", and I felt like, whoo, wow. It was me and my
yeah.
friend, I remember, and we were just like, yeah, everybody is huge. Like these women, 6'3", 6'2", gorgeous blondes, blue eye. Everybody's like blonde, blue eye, and it's just these two little caramel people just walking around. I know, that was
Oh
fun
my gosh.
though. It was fun.
Yeah. It is. It's an experience, and I think. I mean, a lot of people don't even have passports, and I think that I think if and I know that it's not easy to get one, and it's it is a process, but I really think that folks should if they can take advantage of that experience, because it is very humbling, and it really just opens your eyes to like what the rest of the world looks like, so you're not
I
just like in this little box.
I think that when you travel, you get to change a lot of your perspectives. You get to see
Yeah.
how the world look like, and became more acceptance of reality, I would say. So we are supposed to be just closed up in your small little town or your small little city, whatever you live. You have the same darkness of from childhood, but when you get out of it and look the way the world see everything in the world looks like, then you became more compassionate to reality.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I am so
And the
glad.
food,
Oh my God, the food, it
the
just
food,
awakens your
right?
palate, right? It just awakens your palate. It's amazing. That's wow. Now that you touch base on that, and oh my God, I don't think I will have enough
Right. Tell
time
me,
to
like,
talk about
food
that.
food heals food
It's
heals the
different.
soul.
Middle
Like,
Eastern food, whew,
it is.
amazing. It's delicious. I mean, Hispanic in all spectrums, Middle Easterns, uh, Indian food. Oh my God, I like spicy. I like spicy.
See? See, look how happy you just got talking about
Yeah,
food,
it's
right?
like
It's
because
like,
I
yeah.
thought that Mexicans have a spicy food until I try Indian food, and I'm like, whoa, like this is me. Where have you been? And
Mhm.
everything is like Thai, and oh my God, it's amazing. I think that everybody should give themselves the opportunity to travel and see the world for
Yeah.
their own eyes, no the narrative that is being, you know, it's been done out there. But
Yeah. Don't believe everything you see on TV, man. Go experience it for yourself, and you'll
yes,
you'll really see the
social
truth of the
media,
people.
yeah, social
Yeah.
media and big news outlets, everybody, have a narrative that they have to abide to. So when you go and you put yourself
Right.
out there and you see it for your own eyes, and you have a different experience, and you actually will discover reality with your own eyes. So
Hmm.
just to wrap this up, I just wanted to let you know, just express my gratitude for the work that you have done. I consider myself a very opinionated person, and I have gotten in trouble multiple times, and I will continue to do so because I am very strong in my beliefs. And what I think that we should fight for. And women empowering is super important for me. Being able to have that individuality and just fight for what you truly believe is super, super in need and empowering in this. So I thank you not only for your service, but for everything that you're doing behind the scenes, like you mentioned before, for all those people that need you, that need us. And so if you have a platform, why not use it in a most healthy manner? So thank you so much, Crystal. And I usually like to wrap up with like, voice of empowerment and encouragement. So for those who need, help, there's actually help out there. There's healing behind those wounds, and with power and love, you are definitely be able to do so. So thank you so much, Crystal. And I am so glad
for the opportunity
that I have to talk to you and share your experience. And everybody, thank you so much for listening to us and for tuning in on Tell with Tudi. I'm very glad to share all these experiences. And don't forget that you can find us in Audible, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and all main podcast streams, Spotify, and all major podcast streams. Thank you so much. And thank you. What can I say?
Nice to meet you.
Amazing to meet you, Krista.
You've got a friend in New Mexico now.
Yes.
And I got another friend in the Bay Area. I'm going to come looking for you. We're going to go eat.
Yes, please. Bye-bye, everybody.